Yeah, but honestly, bro, this movie, it's the worst thing that's ever happened to. I've never been so conflicted, honestly, about a film. I don't really know what to say. You know, like, have you seen Jurassic World?
Is that the first one?
Yeah, Jurassic World is the first one.
I saw the first one. I didn't see the second or the third one.
Okay.
I want to, though. I mean, I love dinosaurs.
I don't have the HDMI cable on your mic, on your camera. That's okay. We'll get that fixed. Actually, you should plug it in. That's your job, and then you might as well lower the gain on my camera while you're at it. Yeah, it's the gray one. Yep, and then that's right. Yep, there it is. You found it. All right, cool. And okay, in fact, let me just read through the IMDb for this movie, okay? You know what Jurassic World is about. Surely. And I'm sure you know about what Fallen Kingdom is. Oh, you're just breaking my stuff.
Fallen Kingdom.
Yeah. Fallen Kingdom is the second one. Let me show you what this says.
I gotta figure out which streaming service has those because I do want to watch them. I don't know where to find them though.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. They're just not good movies. I don't know. I can't get over how not good they are, though.
Yeah.
Like, it's one of those things where it's like I can't grasp it. I can't understand it. It overtakes me. Damn. All right, let's see here. The IMDb you didn't lower my levels. I'll forgive you though. All right, here's what it says: 4 years after the destruction of Isla Nublar, Biosyn operatives attempt to track down Maisie Lockwood, while Dr. Ellie Sattler investigates a genetically engineered swarm of giant insects.
What?
Yeah, did you hear anything? Was there anything about dinosaurs in there?
No.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the thing. Mannequin Skywalker, what do you think? I know, right? It's just like, cannot even deal with that. All right, I got to fix you still got the weird box, which means you're in manual mode. You're not supposed to be. And I got to adjust the gain on mine big time. My ISO is out of the stratosphere. You've never seen Jurassic World, though.
Hold on, Sean. Jurassic World. I don't remember what any of them are called. World.
Am I in manual focus? Yeah, I am. Why would I be in manual focus? Oh, that's right. I'm stupid. Okay.
That was the first one, right?
Kind of.
The first one with Chris Pratt.
Yeah.
Yes, I've seen that one. I have not seen Fallen Kingdom or Dominion.
Okay. Well,
why did I never see Fallen Kingdom?
Because it's terrible, and you weren't missing anything, honestly.
Wait a second.
All right. So here's what I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try to take this and plug it into the back of this switcher here. My last available spot. And I'm going to plug the other end into my phone and see what that does. Also, I got to figure out how to do this like lower third stuff.
What's the lower third stuff?
Well, there's like this ability to do like, look, it's Sean in the lower third. See that right there?
My phone's going to die. Oh, that's cool.
Like if we were gaming, but we're not gaming. Well, we're always gaming, just not in the way this thing probably intends. Right. You tired, buddy?
Dude, I'm super tired.
Oh, all right. Well,
I could have fallen asleep.
all right. I'm plugged in. When I go to 4, oh, look at that, dude. It's my phone.
What?
Great. Now everybody's going to know my battery isn't great right now. All right. So that's works.
Cool.
Yeah, Jurassic World. Actually, you know, good question. I gotta steal some.
If
headphones.
you go the other orientation, does it?
Let's find out.
Did you see I plugged your blog post? in the
I
last
appreciated that. You did.
video? I got you, fam.
It does it. Although maybe not. Let's see here. Oh, there it is. Okay. Let me see here. If I'm gonna watch a video real quick.
That's legit.
Let's see here. Okay, let's just get like a full screen image here. And then I want to know what it looks like when I mean, yeah, it fills it up. It's just a kind of resolution thing. Like I think a web page is naturally like squished. Or like it's not like quite widescreen. It's like
There's a mobile version, yeah.
yeah, like a mobile version slightly taller. And so I imagine I got to go get my iPad too because I'm thinking an iPad would have the same problem because an iPad isn't like 16 by 9.
Right.
It's like tall. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
All right, well that works.
Cool.
So I'm going to check that off.
So what applications will we use for that?
Well, you know, in case I want to be like, "Hey Austin, did you see that monster that was underneath my bed?" You know, like that kind of a thing and then like
We can add them now versus having to add them later.
in some ways, yeah, or like, you know, I can show people that cool picture of Legolas at the Olympic Games.
Oh, heck yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Perfect. Now, the trick is you'd have to like have it prepared ahead of time, which like I'm not going to do,
Right.
you know?
Yeah, I hear you.
All right, let's see what else is on my list.
Because everything we do is just straight off the top of our heads. We're never really planning
That's
on
true
talking
because
about.
we're young and we're free.
Yeah, we're never planning on talking about.
All right, first thing to cover is
I'm
mumbling.
blue.
Mumbling, which is what I do a lot.
You know what? I have not been talking loud enough into my mic.
Well, you know, I'll tell you why that is. Let me get these headphones. Oh my gosh. Anakin, get off. Gosh.
My phone's gonna die.
Get over this guy. All right.
Mucho shakapaka.
Die.
Yeah, my phone isn't doing good.
Is that charging it or no?
I forgot to charge it last night, like the first time in infinite years.
That's
I almost
hilarious.
never forget to do that.
You know what happens to my phone? I get flour in my charging port, and then
bet you
it
do.
won't connect.
I bet you do. Okay.
I plug it in and it gives me the light up like it's charging, and then I wake up and it's at 3%.
You know what's funny is I cannot get that camera to look at me because this microphone is like, it believes in the mic. It doesn't believe in me. Okay. All right, let's see here. What happens if I play like audio on my phone here? Let's see here. I don't want to play something that'll get us in trouble. I want to play something that like matters to me. Although it's an HDMI source going into the, well, I guess it should have audio then, shouldn't it? Because it is an HDMI source going into the switcher the same way that the Rodecaster is an HDMI source going into the switcher. I think. Don't quote me on that. Let's see. I'll play this. Let's see what happens. This video is playing on the TV using AirPlay. Okay.
I have a smaller
If I cut
table.
to it.
I have a smaller fold-up table that I could bring.
Yeah, I don't hear nothing. Well, a fold-up table's fine, but what if that's too small? I'm thinking like a real table.
Oh.
Like not this literal white
Sure.
nothing. See, if you'd have seen the most recent episode of... see, I wish I could play videos through my phone using this as a camera feed, but I can't. Which is too bad because that'd be perfect.
Yeah.
Because I could like you said, instead of having clips that we'd have to edit in later, I could just like play the video right here.
Right.
And it's like it's ready and set. And I really want to play this video because it's the video of Lawrence Kasdan talking about the most morbid thing I've ever heard. So actually, you know what? I can do it though. Watch. I bet I can. I can Bluetooth. Right? My phone. But if I plug it in, okay, I am connected to the Rodecaster. So like what? Why am I not playing anything on the Rodecaster? Hold on. If I unplug it, what happens?
I felt someone had to go.
Yeah.
Oh.
You know, I felt someone had to die.
Yeah.
Was that Enlightened Magic? What was that from?
No, that was when they were talking about it was Empire Dreams. It was like the other documentary they released with DVD versions of the movies.
Yes.
Okay, so
I really
can't.
like that.
Supposedly, when this is plugged in, I can't do that though. I can. See, as soon as like a second after it said switching to AirPlay, can I just like say, hey, don't AirPlay? Is that possible? Like if I turn off the Wi-Fi? Yeah, I don't know. Oh well. Okay, well that's video-wise. That works. Yep. I'm sure there's a way to connect like this as another camera, and then connect it as a not only as a video source but like an audio source. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to hear Lawrence Kasdan talk about how badly he wanted to kill Han Solo.
Right.
And I don't feel like I should be denied that.
No.
All right. Let's see what else. All right, mumbling. Let's talk about mumbling, Austin.
Let's talk about it.
While I eat my Chipotle that you got me, especially because mumbling is arguably not as bad as like the whole.
Yeah.
Which these microphones, actually, the Rodecaster has the ability to like kind of cancel that stuff out.
Really?
Well, there's like compression things and there's noise gates. And I mean, even when I'm editing audio, though, it's a very imprecise science. I mean, because it's like the difference between a and a. I mean, we're just talking decibel levels. It's really hard to like tell it to squash that. I mean, if anything, you need a post-processing effect, which.
So then does it just squash anything that isn't above a certain decibel level?
Well, like a noise gate is essentially three different effects or three different variables. It's there's what's called the attack, meaning when you hear the audio coming in, how quick do you attack it? Like normally you'd set it to the minimum, which is like 1 millisecond. In other words, you have the noise gate, meaning you've muted everything. And then as soon as the audio comes in, how quick do you attack it? Meaning how quick do you start, making that audio hearable? Like you unmute. Well, generally you want the attack to be instantaneous. Unless you were kind of a thing where you wanted to like fade up into me talking, like that kind of a thing. Like you don't want it to be completely silent and then immediately somebody's talking. Right. You want the noise gate to have a gentle curve. That's when you would adjust the attack. But in my experience, I never have to worry about that stuff. And then there is, what's it called? Hold. There's holds. In other words, like you got to think literally the noise gate is on off. Okay. Like on off noise. Do you have open so audio is coming through, or do you have it muted where nothing's coming through? So, in fact, let me look at the settings on here. I think there is a noise gate built into this thing. I just got to find it. Audio processing. No, that's not it. Operations. No, that's not it. Multi-track. No, that's not it. Let's do this. I think it's per microphone. Yeah, there it is. Okay. So I have noise gate on, right? And with the noise gate, it's going to be like when Sean's not talking on this microphone, it just shuts. So theoretically, if I'm breathing or making very subtle noises that aren't loud enough to open the noise gate, it'll just stay muted. Okay. Which is convenient for little, like, I'm just sitting here, maybe the soft sounds of me, I don't know, scratching my beard or something like that. Yeah. You don't want that stuff to turn the mic on, so you noise gate. But then there's hold. And hold is where you have, like, now that the noise gate is open, how long do you want it to stay open? Now, if it was just one, like if I just said yes, that's only one little thing of audio. So then the question becomes, once you hear that audio, how long do you want to hold? Okay. And again, this gets into the milliseconds. Usually you don't want it open for more than like 250 milliseconds, which is a quarter of a second. You wouldn't want it open that long because that just sounds weird. Right. He said yes. And then for like a very discernible quarter of a second, you still hear the audio of like the rain or whatever's going on in the room. You don't want that.
Right.
So you want a hold to only be as long as it should be. Now, if I keep talking, the hold keeps getting suspended.
Right.
It's not like it shuts off after the first word. It just keeps going. It keeps holding. Now, then you have what's called release. And release is where now that it no longer is detecting audio, you're telling it, hey, here's how long I want you to spend releasing. In other words, it's like fading out.
Yeah.
If you had it 1 millisecond, it would be like attack, 1 millisecond, Sean says yes. And if your hold was 1 millisecond or something, it'd be as soon as it stops detecting audio, it drops.
Yeah.
Or if I had, like, let's say 500 milliseconds, half a second, it would be Sean says yes, hold for half a second. And then if my release was 1 millisecond, it would just go boop. But I don't want that. I want it to sound a little bit more natural than that. So I would have my release at like 50 milliseconds or 100 milliseconds. So it's like a nice yes. So that's the kind of stuff we'd have to figure out how to play with better.
Yeah.
But the problem is, like, because the discipline is you should get so close to this mic all the time.
Right.
It's hard for me to just say, like, oh, I want you to cancel out any noise that's not talking.
Mm-hmm.
That's really hard.
Yeah.
Because, theoretically, there's like different kinds of ways, like that you could talk about, like, the physics of a microphone, where, like, literally my voice has to project just enough to, like, vibrate that little thing in there.
Right.
And that's the activation. Like, so me just like there's literally not enough concussive force to turn that mic on.
Right.
So that's something technically you can process with. But what I like about these microphones is they're not designed to be like that. They're not designed for that. Like those Shure mics you see people with, that's more what they do. They're only sensitive up to a point. Like, you got to actually project into them for them to pick you up. These mics are different. They capture the most subtle sounds. It's almost like, this is actually like a good singing mic, which is perfect because I like to think of what we're doing as music.
Oh.
Yeah. And so that's like what the noise gate is. But the other problem we're having is what's called compression and like a hard limiter. Actually, I don't know if this thing has a hard limiter. I know it definitely has compression. I just don't know about a hard limiter. The problem with like compression though is, like, for example, let's see. I got to put my headphones on. So I'm talking nice and gentle into the mic. And I'm actually talking very softly, but I'm coming in very crystal clear. So as I pull back, you might notice my audio somehow still stays the same, like the volume, even though I'm not right up on the mic. So what compression's doing is when I'm getting really close to the mic, it's pulling down the level so that's not too hot. And then as I get farther and farther away from the microphone, farther and farther away, it actually starts to pull the audio up so that I am able to still be in that nice decibel range.
Right.
The problem is, though, you got to remember, like, your audio has like what's called a floor, a gain floor, where, hey, Sean's talking and the audio waveforms are in this nice area for it to read. But then when I'm not talking, it's just this flat line. But it's not a flat line because technically at the very bottom of the floor, there's all this dust. Literally this gain, this electronic, that kind of thing you hear in bad audio.
Yeah.
That's called noise. And fun fact, that noise is impossible to completely get rid of naturally because it's literally the sound of radiation, which is kind of interesting. Like, it's literally the sound of radiation and the microphone is picking up.
Wow.
And so you can't really get rid of it. Of course, there's 100 ways to get rid of it digitally or post-processing. That's like what noise reduction is and everything. Or certain devices have really high signal to noise ratio or something like that. Meaning when I'm talking through this microphone, it really boosts that signal. Like, it takes that, literally the electrons being converted into a signal kind of like, and it really amplifies them. And so my voice is coming through the mic and you're not really hearing that noise at the bottom, which is nice. But then other microphones and other different equipment isn't going to have a good noise floor. It's going to have a really weak signal. And so like one of my shotgun microphones, I had this problem where no matter what audio I captured, I could still very faintly hear that noise, no matter how close I got to the mic. And the problem was its signal to noise ratio was so bad. It just wasn't sensitive enough. But what I ended up doing was buying what's called a FET head, which is this tiny little piece of like XLR metal, like literally like it's like 3 inches long or whatever. And all you do is attach it to the back of your XLR, like you attach it to the back of your microphone, and it just like boosts the signal like 10 decibels or whatever. That's all it does. $100 for like this like thing that probably costs like 7 cents worth of like electronic parts or whatever. But what that does is it boosts the signal. Now, similarly on this Rodecaster, you have different things that are doing stuff like that. So, for example, the headphones do not have good signal to noise ratio, which is why, like, I don't know, which one am I? Am I 1? Yeah, I think I'm 1. Which one are you? Are you 2 or 3? Check.
I'm that one.
You're 2? So, actually, I think the Rodecaster does a pretty good job of, like, muting this out, but if I, like, crank it, you can kind of hear that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the noise ratio on headphones isn't great. But that's fine because generally people would argue it's just a monitoring. Like headphones are just monitoring stuff. So who cares? Like if you hear a little bit of that hiss, who cares? It's not a big deal. What you want to have good signal in is the output. So on this, the output signal has great signal to noise ratio. And so that's what makes that work better.
Okay.
But again, what the compressor is doing is as I pull back, a compressor starts activating. And it starts raising and playing with the audio level. But the problem is, like when Noah was talking, when he's too far back from the mic, one, the compressor has to work overtime, meaning it's got to keep exaggerating those levels to maintain it at a good audio range. And you just get a lot of noise in there. And the second part is the frequency of your voice changes when you're right up on the mic and when you're away from it.
Okay.
Like literally it's the vibration of your voice. Like just the shape of the waves change when you get further back and closer. So you just don't sound the same. You're missing certain low ends or certain high ends. They just get lost.
Right.
They kind of just the waveform like passes the mic and it doesn't pick it up the same way.
Yeah.
And so that's why I want to get like right up on the mic generally. But the problem we're having is me and you, we get so close to the mic, which is good practice, but we can hear ourselves so well that we start talking really kind of quiet and gentle.
Yeah.
Which is funny because that's just not excited talking.
True.
At some point it's almost mumbling. And so I'm wondering what happens if I like just start, for me, if I just like actually start, like actually right now I can't even hear myself. And what's actually kind of funny is like not only can I not hear myself, but the headphones actually kind of like muffle my voice a little bit. And so I actually feel like I have to talk a lot louder than normal to actually hear myself kind of well.
Right.
So how does that sound? Does that seem like just naturally even when I'm up on the mic, I that doesn't make a difference. I actually have to talk stronger to hear myself talk. Now, if I take these headphones off, not such a big deal. Now I feel like I can talk more comfortably down here. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Okay, but if I put them back on, and then I put my headphone volume back up, like almost immediately, you can see how much I've changed the way I talk. Right.
You bring it way down.
Yeah. So here's the thing. I feel like I shouldn't have to sit back here. I feel like this headphone thing just has a really sharp roll off. That's all I'm saying. I feel like it just has a super sharp roll off, like where I feel like I should still be able to hear myself, but I just don't. Like, why don't you try talking?
Check. Hello. Yeah, it's gone now. And now, now I feel muffled and I got to talk this. I got to be right here.
And it's weird because let me try this. Like I'm at noon, right? Noon. Going down to 11. Now I'm at 10-ish. And now I'm not even at 9. Like I'm not even at 9. I'm like at just past 10. I cannot even hear myself in my headphones anymore. Yeah. And it's really weird because now even if there is like the very subtle detection of my voice, I can still kind of hear it here.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is it's overwhelmed by the muffling sound I'm getting, because now what I'm hearing is myself in my head,
Right.
like that weird like like you could feel it in your head. Like I'm hearing myself in my head more than anything, and that's not good. Oh my gosh, my chips and queso.
Eat your chaps and cast, dude.
So honestly, you know who's actually pretty good about that though? Dave.
Yeah.
Dave's great at talking strong into the mic.
Taps off to Dave.
Taps off to Dave. He, I think it's because he's always just an excited guy. You know, he doesn't ever have that.
He always
sense
comes
of-
in pretty pumped about whatever he's going to talk about.
Yeah,
I
Which is funny
admittedly am usually a little tired.
yeah. Oh my gosh, this is perfectly coagulated. This is gonna go straight in my.
The perfect coagulation.
Like that's going in my.
Coaxial
That's
cable.
going in. It's going in my carotid right there. Actually, good question. Obviously, it's going to hear me chewing it from right here, right? Can you listen in? Get your headphones off your head or on your ears.
I should wear them like this from
pretty
time
cool.
to time.
I like that. Okay,
I feel like
but like I want to know if I chew back here, will it be hearable? You know,
yes.
man.
And my headphones aren't even on very high. I can hear.
Well, that's no good.
Yeah, because there's times where I like have to cough or like sneeze or something.
Yeah.
Or
I
yeah.
wonder what the chance we could get it. I mean, we can get sneeze buttons, which is like just on the back of this mic. Before the XLR goes into the microphone, it goes into a little box. That's just essentially like an off.
I got you.
You just
Kill switch.
otherwise I'd have to like mute myself. Wait, actually, am I mic one? Did I mute myself?
No, you're still on.
On mic two.
That must be.
Yeah, so
mine.
now I can chew as much as I want. Nobody can stop me. You won't.
The question is my mic picking it up now?
Maybe a little bit, but not enough. Especially when you start talking because it's compression.
Right, because then it picks me up.
Yeah. So why don't you tell me what's been going on with you, Austin? What's Nerdville look like for you?
I did watch the first episode of Andor.
Oh, okay. This is the first episode, huh?
I only watched the first episode.
Okay.
I ran
What'd you
out of
think?
time. I really liked it. I liked how they started off with him accidentally killing those guys. That was pretty. It seems very gritty.
I have heard that exact sentence word for word like 5 times this past week.
Really?
I really like how it starts off with him killing me.
But no, he accidentally did it, and that's the difference between like a normal
That second
classic.
guy was not an accident.
Like, well, yeah. No, but you can see the remorse in his face
Yeah,
of like, dude, I didn't. What the heck?
Yeah, were you like me when you were watching it and you were like, when the guy started saying, "We can go in together.
Right.
We can go together." Even I'm sitting there going like, "Yo, you gotta murk this guy."
Right.
I hate to say it, but those are the worst words you could ever say in this situation.
Yeah.
I don't know. What would you? Here's a good question. What would if Andor had the gun to your head? What would you say to get away from? What would you say to let him leave you be?
Take me with you.
I'll join the rebellion, or whatever you're doing. I'll help you find your sister.
Whatever it is you're doing, I will do it with you.
Yeah.
I liked the dark, gritty nature of it.
Okay.
I mean, it's kind of a unique situation. Like, I didn't realize he was from a random planet, like this small little tribe, you know, where they're like mesmerized by the sight of a starship.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I wish it didn't open up with a brothel scene, but
Oh my
you
gosh.
get what you get and you don't throw a fit.
You get what you get. You don't throw a fit. That's a new one.
Yeah.
Well, I'll say this.
Admittedly, I was simultaneously watching our YouTube video upload while I was watching it. So I kind of missed what was going on in the last couple minutes. Like that one guy, they were at like the shipyard, and the guy came over and yelled at him about how he like didn't fix his ship.
If it makes you feel any better, I watched that episode like 3 times because I kind of was like you, I was like distracted and I was like tired and then out of it.
Yeah.
So I didn't really watch it fully like I should have. But you know what's funny is the guy in that scene,
Yeah.
no idea what he's talking about. three times through, don't have any idea.
Okay, well that makes me feel better.
Yeah. So
You
know what I like. You know what's funny about that show though is part of me is wondering if the reason they did 3 episodes is because like, oh, Lord of the Rings did 2 episodes,
Yeah.
and so we gotta one up them, right?
Right.
3 episodes. But when you watch it, it's almost like you get the sense that like it's not really 3 separate episodes, like 3 separate story arcs. It's like one story arc just broken into 3 parts.
Gotcha.
And I felt like each episode ended really weirdly. Like none of them, except like the 3rd episode ends on a conclusive story beat.
Okay.
The 1st episode and the 2nd episode just kind of like end on random scenes. And I'm like, okay, well, that's not like, I don't like, why end on that scene? Like it doesn't even, like it seems arbitrary.
Right.
And so my theory is that their original pitch was a like long, 1.5 hour long pilot,
Gotcha.
which they felt like wasn't compelling enough. And so they just kind of decided to arbitrarily cut it into 3 pieces.
Interesting.
I mean, if
Yeah.
you weren't happy about the brothel scene in episode 2, I feel bad about.
You can spoil
Is it
something.
episode 3 or episode 2
I'll
or
let
3?
you spoil a small tidbit.
This is a family show, so I'm not going to talk about it in mixed company. No, I mean it's not it's just very like the show's very clearly going for like PG-13. Ooh, that's how it starts, and then later there's running and screaming, you know, that kind of thing.
I heard a guy drops the S word. It's the first S
When?
word. It's like the guards that he kills. It's like one of those guys.
I don't remember anything like that. I could be wrong.
I've been seeing a lot of memes about
They
it.
almost dropped an S word in the most recent Rings of Power.
What?
A dwarf makes a joke about elves taking forever when to decide to take and then some character cuts them off. And the joke is that, you know, that's just how dwarves are. They're so
Brash.
brash and uncouth or whatever.
Dang, I gotta catch up, man. It's what sucks is like, okay, so I edited that episode, took me a while, and then I start doing the math on like how many hours of footage I need to watch. Oh, there's 3 episodes of Andor. There's another episode of She-Hulk, and I think I'm 4 episodes behind now in Rings of Power. That's 4 hours.
Oh my gosh!
Plus,
You could just stop sleeping.
that might do it. I want to see Jurassic World Dominion, Jurassic Fallen Kingdom. There's another. I need to watch Shang-Chi. I need to watch Eternals.
Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi, that's right.
Yeah, you're in trouble.
I'm using clips of like Eternals for our podcast, and I've never even seen it. You know, the end credit scene with Thanos' brother, Harry Styles.
Why don't you tell me more about what you need to do with your life while I adjust my camera and make it stop being
What I need to do with my life.
That's your job.
Okay.
I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna talk about Jurassic World Dominion, and you're gonna fix my camera so it's actually I'm in focus. It's that one, the one with the orange. I think it's in manual focus mode, so you actually have to physically jangle with the jobbers, the lens. You know, like the nope, outside the lens. You'll know you're turning it outside, further forward. It's like watching a. There it is. You got it. Well, yeah. And you can see me slowly getting in and out of focus, right? I can't see. No, not on this screen. It all just looks the same. Wait. Hold on. Let me ask you a question. On the screen, do you see something that says MF or do you see something that says AFC? On the left side. Okay, so it's autofocusing, but it's not picking me up autofocusing. So it's like, if I just like, hi guys, it'll get me. But otherwise it won't. Probably because I'm wearing a mask. And by mask, I mean hat. Something.
Why is it given like your hat is like?
What do you mean?
It looks like
Zebra patterns.
Yeah.
That's like an overexposure setting.
When you lifted your hands, it was on your hands. And when you
Yeah, because it's just saying like, hey, look how bright my hand is. It's too bright. In fact, we could fix that if you want. What you should probably do is adjust the shutter because I don't know what the ISO is. It's probably still really low. So you got your thumb dial.
ISO 250.
Yeah, it's low enough. It's not going to get lower than that. You just want to adjust your ISO down. I'm sorry, your shutter down. You'll know it's going down, ironically, when the numbers are getting bigger.
Yeah, right.
One more, probably. All right, cool. That should be good. It might be. Yeah, I might do a better job of keeping me in focus now. So there you go. You did it.
I freaking did it.
You're a hero.
I've never.
You're like that kid who sings about corn.
I saw somebody post. It's like, I went to school. I got a degree. I bust my butt every day at work. This kid's a millionaire because he started talking about corn at a festival.
I pray that kid's not a millionaire for those reasons. I'm sure that's not the problem.
This world, man.
All right. Well, now let's look into figuring out this picture-in-picture thing. Oh, there I am. Okay.
Yep.
So I'm in the corner. Now, how do I? I'm out of the corner. I'm in this corner. Now I'm in that corner. Now in that corner. Okay. But how do I set it up so that like when I cut to Austin or when I cut to myself, Austin, no, see now I'm still in my own corner. That's not right.
Double corner.
I don't like that at all. How do I get Austin?
Corner all the way.
I want Austin in my corner. No, I'm always in. I guess it's always camera one. That must be it. It's just always camera one. So it's like, hey, we're watching a video, and we want Sean in the corner. Nobody put Sean in the corner, but I guess in this case we do. You know what's also a little bit weird is it's like I can't cut to another source and maintain that picture in picture. I have to re-hit on to do it.
Mm-hmm.
That's a little bit weird.
That is weird.
I mean, what do you think, Mannequin?
Anakin Skywalker.
Yeah, same. Another thing I wanted to figure out how to adjust, but maybe it's not necessary, is like I have an A7S, an A7 III, and stop me if you've heard this before, an A7S III, right?
Right.
So the problem, though, is even though technically they all have like the same thing going on with them, they all have slightly different crop factors, which is just another way of saying like for example, I don't know which one it is. I don't know if it's my A7S III or the A7 III. One of them is like it crops in a little bit slightly tighter, like exact same lens. It's going to be a little bit tighter, which is frustrating because you can see I got two. I got a 50 millimeter on that one. I got a 50 millimeter on Mannequins, right?
Uh-huh.
It's the same exact lens, but I think if I were to like hold those cameras up next to each other and have them both pointing at the same subject, one of them would be slightly punched in more than the other.
Okay.
Which is kind of weird. I understand why it is. I think it has to do with like filming in 4K versus filming in 1080. Like, oh, it crops at 4K or something like that, or oh, it's full frame at 4K, but then it's not at 1080 or something. I don't know. Point is, it's a little annoying because my thought process is, well, if I just set up the camera equidistance from each other, like, you know, if I have them pointing at two different people and it's completely equidistant,
Right.
they'll be exactly the same size and frame, but that's not the case, which is really annoying.
That is annoying.
So, all right, speaking of annoying, She-Hulk.
Yeah.
Do you think She-Hulk is for us? Like, I don't think it is.
I think it's against us.
Oh my gosh. Why do you say that? It's
We're men.
it's honestly, gender has nothing to do with it. I just don't think the show is, I don't know. It's I don't want to say it's not Marvel because it is.
Right.
I'd be objectively wrong if I said it's not
It
Marvel.
definitely feels like a different brand. It's not MCU.
Yeah, it's just in the MCU.
Yeah.
It's just in there.
I'll say
It's just like, oh, by the way, it's almost like hey, two lawyers sitcom that happens to take place in the MCU world.
Right. But like you said, it's almost like they're taking even the lawyer stuff very lighthearted.
Yeah,
It's not like a hardcore
they're not
lawyer
even,
show.
like-
It's all just like kind
I was
of
a little
joke.
bit bummed by that because I kind of wanted like a really interesting Law and Order thing about like, hey, what are the ethics and legalities around superheroes doing their thing?
Right. Well, maybe it'll get there. I mean,
No.
I don't appreciate the Tinder hookup storylines, but you do sympathize with the character because it's like nobody even likes her. They only like She-Hulk. So like imagine getting powers like that and then realizing nobody actually cares about you. They only care about the version of you that is a superhero.
Are we still talking about the show?
Nope.
Well, first of all, any show or movie that casts an objectively beautiful young lady to play a character who is considered not attractive in the show
Right.
completely just goes over my head.
Sure.
Because what's her name? Tatiana?
Yeah.
She's a great looking lady.
Right.
And so it's like, no, man, I want to be with She-Hulk. What? Are you sure?
Yeah, seriously.
No, you don't.
I don't understand that at all.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like anybody who wants to be with She-Hulk and not her is just like a bad person. you know?
Right.
Which I guess is true because that one guy kind of just like left her,
Right.
which is really messed up.
Yeah, it's messed up.
I don't want to see that in my Thursday morning rom-com.
I didn't
It's
see.
not even a rom-com. It's just a sitcom
It's just a com.
because it's very situational comedy.
Yeah.
It's very much like, oh, what would happen if she went on a Tinder date and it got interrupted by some superhero nonsense? Oh, what would happen if these two lawyers had to figure out how to juggle this situation with a Mr. Immortal who keeps not dying?
Is that
And-
the last episode?
Yeah.
I didn't see the news.
You know what's really weird about that last What's really weird about that last episode is it doesn't even focus on, like, She-Hulk spends the entire episode at a wedding. Meanwhile, her best friend and that other lady she works with at the lawyer's office, they spend the whole episode trying to work out this situation with a superhero or superhuman. I mean, again, it's weird that there's like superhuman, there's superpowered people in this show that they don't actually explain,
Yeah.
which is actually new in the MCU. Because everybody else technically gets some sort of backstory. But they have like that Titania girl.
Yeah.
She's just got superpower. She's just super strong. No explanation. And then in this episode, they have an older gentleman named Mr. Immortal. He calls himself Mr. Immortal. And his thing is like he just doesn't die.
Okay.
Like he literally jumps off a building and lands on a car and then just kind of like cracks his neck a little bit and then gets up and walks away.
Dang.
And the joke is, oh, he's been married dozens of times and he keeps faking his death to get out of the relationship. And so decades later, it's all caught up with him or all these ex-wives are suing him in divorce court. And so the two ladies have to like figure out how to balance it all out because he's their client.
Why though? Why would they go down that road?
It's not like it's the dumbest idea in the world. And if it was, I love the dumbest ideas in the world. It's just like, what does this have to do with She-Hulk?
Right.
Like, is this lady going to...
Right.
Actually, I guess it'd be really disappointing, Austin, is if somehow this show did turn itself around and become about this girl needing to like save the world.
Yeah.
Because at this point, I'm thoroughly convinced it's not.
Yeah.
Like the fact that she's got superpowers, she's the She-Hulk, is really just a misnomer. Like it's just a side hustle.
Yeah.
She doesn't want to be a superhero. She doesn't need to be a superhero. You know?
Well, have they dove into the threat of whoever it was that tried to jump her that night and get?
They keep
blood?
teasing it, but they don't ever. Theoretically, they'll get there in the next episode, but they don't ever.
Or this season finale. Do you know how many episodes it is?
I don't know. Hundreds,
Hundreds.
forever.
My phone's gonna die.
How's my phone doing? It's okay. It's still it's hanging on there. Death grip, kung fu grip. Oh, all my new sounds, dude. We didn't get a chance to listen to them. got some new fun sounds. Let's see here. I think
Maybe there's been 2 episodes then that I missed. Yeah. They're
every Thursday.
they're on episode 6, I guess.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Assemble.
Yeah, there it is.
Hey, did you see that sky today? Talk about blue.
Oh, you don't have your headphones on. Okay. Come on. Austin, ask me what I say to all my bath toys before I get in the bath.
What do you say?
Assemble.
Ask me what I say when I'm really nervous in front of people and I don't know how to start a conversation.
What do you say in front of those people?
Hey, did you see that sky today?
Talk about blue.
Okay, what's this one?
Kronk.
I can't believe
Oh, yeah.
can't even face my senses. Oh, my, what a day.
That's from one of the greatest movies ever made. An
Extremely goofy movie. Yeah.
Yeah. There's people who are like, "Oh man, I hope I'm alive when we finally discover alien life," or "Oh, I hope I'm alive when they finally have a man on Mars." I'm happy already because I was born in a timeline with an extremely goofy movie.
Dude, great movie.
I guess you could say things are getting pretty serious.
I'm not happy with that one. Of course I love that quote, but it's just it was really hard to get the audio to sound good because
he's mumbling.
Yeah.
I guess you could say things are getting pretty serious.
This one though sounds
Vengeance.
perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then of course,
Mucho shakapaka.
What is that from? I don't know the origin.
that's from KOTOR, Knights of the Old Republic.
I never played it. I'm sorry, Sean.
It's okay.
Ogres have layers.
You know what I love about that one is I didn't actually. That's not the actual way he says it in the movie.
No?
I edited different parts of it together so that he says it more exaggeratedly than normal.
Ogres have layers.
And then I got this one, which we are all very familiar with.
Get out!
Oh, it's such a good one.
It's classic.
Oh, yeah. It's all coming together.
That's right, Chuck.
You know what's funny about that? We have said that line so many times over the course of our lives,
Yeah.
over the last 20 years, that when I listened to it again to download it, I was disappointed
Yeah.
because he doesn't go all the way like we would.
That's right, Chuck.
He just says it that's right, Chuck.
It's very matter of fact.
But we were after it's almost like the Flanderization of the way we would say it. That's right, Chuck.
Yeah, we just took it to another level.
Then I shall die as one of them.
Yeah.
My king.
You know what I did? You know what I did today and yesterday? I actually found on YouTube somebody uploaded the entirety of the Peter Jackson and his other writers, the Fellowship of the Ring extended edition commentary.
Oh, wow.
So I listened to that while I was getting some.
Dude, our discussion last week really got me fired up to watch those, and I still haven't.
They're still good, man.
Because that's the problem. I got so much to catch up on so we can talk about stuff that I don't have enough time to go back and be nostalgic and watch the old stuff. I can't go back and watch She-Hulk episode 1.
They fly now.
I got to watch 5, 6, and 7 still.
They fly now. They fly now.
See, I want to be able to take there's the background noise of the music in that one.
Mm-hmm.
They fly now.
It's a lot of cacophony, and I wish I could get rid of it.
My son Oliver just finished Lego Star Wars.
I am a princess of Alderaan.
And I can say that even because you do it by movie, every episode is
Lego Star Wars,
is a level. And I can say that even in that game, the sequels are lame. I'm watching him play. I'm watching.
Why? They don't have the most fun with them?
No, I don't know. It's just following the storyline. I'm watching him play Rise of Skywalker, and I'm like, gosh, that movie was so bad. And he's going through the progression of the levels. Gosh, this is even bad. And I've seen a lot of comparisons of old Lego movies versus that complete saga. They freaking touted that Complete Saga to be like the game of all games, the end all be all, and all like the cutscene animations are done pretty poorly.
Didn't they already release a Lego Star Wars that included the sequels? Wasn't there already like the Skywalker Saga? Is this the Skywalker Saga is the one we're talking about, right? Is that what it's called?
I think this, yeah.
Or is it the Complete Saga?
The Complete Saga. There was another one that was something Saga. Maybe the former one was the Complete Saga, and now this one was the Skywalker Saga. I think that 7, 8, and 9 was not in the last one.
So this is the first time 7, 8, 9 has been in something? I don't believe that.
No?
Because this just came out, and those movies came out in... I'd be shocked if there wasn't a Lego Star Wars game that came out in 2020.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Or I'm sorry, no, 2019.
Maybe they were just never all put together. Yeah. Where you can be... Because there's like 170 characters or something.
Who's the most obscure character they have in there that you're way into?
Shoot, I don't know. Yaddle's in it. Dude, did you see there's going to be Yaddle in the Jedi Tales coming out? There's a teaser where you get Yaddle fighting some dude.
Really?
Yeah. Gosh.
Let me see if I can find it.
It's the one where they tease the young Dooku stuff.
Yeah.
And there's a very brief Yaddle scene.
What's it called? Jedi Tales?
Yes.
Okay.
I think. Those are going to start next month, I think.
I thought you were going to say those are going to suck.
No, they're not going to suck. I mean, young Dooku with a young Qui-Gonial. Oh, my legs are tired.
That's what I got. That's what I found on the internet.
Yeah.
Yeah, stern looking Yaddle.
Yeah, dude.
I don't know. To be honest, bro, I think for me, I don't know if I'm ever going to get into that Clone Wars style.
Dang.
Just looks weird.
That hurts.
I mean, it's like Christopher Lee is this iconic, deserving of so much honor actor.
Mm-hmm.
And his portrayal as Count Dooku is this like very poignant, very sentimental, pretty interesting idea of using him as a villain.
Right. And
then it's like, okay, how do we cartoonize that? And then it's just like, oh, we'll take his face and stretch it across.
Yeah, that was done poorly. But like Christopher Lee creates that character. He sets the tone for what that character is. And then they expand on his character so much in Clone Wars. You just like get more Count Dooku. And you also see kind of this like true, like he really was like kind of in the middle of like, yes, he was serving Sidious, but there's so many times in the show where like he doesn't go full blown Sith. Like he still remembers his Jedi roots. And it's almost like he wasn't completely turned. But then also in the show, him, Obi-Wan, and Anakin have like 7 fights. They constantly are running into each other.
My power has doubled the last time we faced each other count.
Right. Which, because of Filoni, that is no longer their face-off in Clone Wars. It was a face-off where Anakin actually held his own pretty well. I can't remember the exact details, but yeah, it's like Anakin is freaking putting up a fight against Dooku. So for him to say in episode 3, my powers have doubled, he's saying like, I'm going to take you out.
As I don't know what they were doing to Dooku, but I'd really like to know, like, what were they doing to Mace Windu? Like, what's going on?
Dude, you should search I just saw it the other day. It's a YouTube video called Star Wars Clone Wars as a Kids Show.
And then it's like a super cut of all the people who get blown up and shot and
killed.
beheaded. Yeah.
I
think I've seen that.
I think it's set to Mr. Blue Sky.
Well, here's my favorite question. How do you have an episode that is like, it's like about like the start of something super dramatic, right? It's like, okay, this is like the siege of Mandalore. Okay, it's like war, intergalactic. Something's going on. Like there is conflict and drama, or we just ended the last episode on a cliffhanger where some beloved character is murdered.
Right.
And then we don't know the fate of another character. Okay? And then it's like you have like the
I added one of those in the last edit. We were talking about it towards the end of the episode.
I want to know, like, where's the...
Dude, did you see the story arc on
yeah, like,
Umbara?
listen to this guy.
From the majority of its clone army. With few clones available, the Jedi generals cannot gain a foothold in the Outer Rim.
Like, that sounds like they're making fun of me.
Why you?
Because, like, what are they doing? Like, well, they sound childish. That sounds to me.
Yeah.
Like, you know what that reminds me of? It's like from Starship Troopers. Like, would you like to know more? Like, I'm doing my part.
Dude, you gotta watch.
Like, it just sounds like propaganda. And I understand if it's like, well, no, Sean, that's the nuance of Clone Wars. And I'm like, okay, cool, but the nuance isn't nuance when it's literally every episode. So let me ask you a question. Is it like, okay, what's her name, Sabine?
Yeah.
Because they retconned Obi-Wan, and they're like, well, yeah, by the way, he can have a love interest too. So they retconned Sabine, and it's like,
I hope you like pain.
It's like, okay, so I imagine she kind of gets killed, and then that's like a cliffhanger. Or it's like the end of an episode, right? That's how you end the episode.
Kind of, yeah. I think it's towards the end. It's definitely like the last 25% of the episode.
So if you're binge watching this show, like how does what's the next thing that happens? Obi-Wan, distressed and miserable, his beloved Sabine has been murdered. Like,
no, they don't do that every single episode.
They should do it in
I feel like they only do it in like the beginning of a story arc. I think after that, it's like
when I tried to get into the show and I was like watching it chronologically according to that list, I felt like it was every episode.
Maybe I'm wrong.
It made me sad.
It's been way too long since I watched those. Now I got to rewatch those
Nice
too.
try, princess.
Okay, and then
No. Him killing Sabine, Maul killing Sabine is really...
Maul killed her.
Oh no!
Oh my
Spoiler
gosh!
alert.
Does he cut her in half?
No, he just, dude, he freaking runs her through this saber. He forces her into his saber.
Well, yeah, that's
right in front of Kenobers.
Well, then it wasn't his fault. She fell into it.
Dude, you gotta watch the story arc.
She tripped.
I can't remember what
it was.
An
accident,
but it's on Umbara. And
it's on what?
It's Commander.
Mucho shaka
His name Pog Krell, I think.
Is he the Toydarian guy?
Toydarian. Who's that?
The Watto species. Pog Krell.
No. He is the same. My phone's gonna die. He's
You want a charger, bro? I got a charger.
Dude, you got a charger right there? My phone's dead.
Here.
He's the same species as what is it? Dex's Diner. Obi-Wan goes to see Dex.
Oh yeah, he's the guy who has two double-bladed lightsabers.
Yeah. That is a great story arc. Because he basically treats his clones like dirt and just like dispensable, animals, where it's like he's playing Battleship out there, where he's just like sending ships out, getting them blown up, sending more ships out. He doesn't give a dang. He really disassociates himself from the clones. And he orchestrates something where to almost like, I'd have to watch it again. Don't quote me on this. But to like teach his clones a lesson and like subordination, he pits two clone armies against each other. And he tells each of them that the enemy forces on this planet have killed these clone troopers and have taken their armor. So if you see a whatever squadron of clones, that's the enemy.
And he does this just because he's like sadistic?
Yeah.
Or?
So then these clones
but he's a Jedi.
These clones are killing each other, and then one of them finally takes off the helmet of one of the guys he kills.
Oh my gosh, he looks like his brother.
And he
looks like his twin.
He realized they're all clones, and Rex is there. So then they confront him about it because they're like, "Did you told us that they, this was the intel that we had, that those were the enemy, that they had taken our armor." And so then they basically try to like take him captive.
Yeah.
And then he reveals that he's joining the dark side as Dooku's apprentice. And then I think the clones kill him. It's pretty dark.
Here's the thing. Here's a little bit of a weird part about the Clone Wars to me. Is not that I think it's all that important, like this whole idea of the rule of two.
Yeah.
But me personally, I just think logistically, this whole rule of two is just a shortcut of writing.
Yeah.
Like, okay, you only have to worry about two villains. There's the master, there's the apprentice.
Right.
And I kind of want that to be emphasized because even in the original trilogy, there's Palpatine and there's Vader.
Right.
Like that's, I think it was just George Lucas saying, hey, audience, I'll keep this simple. There's Darth Maul and then there's Palpatine. There's not a secret order of Sith out there. Like, let me just...
I think you're right.
But what's weird is like in the Clone Wars, it just gets weird all the way down because it's like, okay, Palpatine's got Dooku, but then Dooku's got Asajj or this other guy, and then Darth Maul is around, yet he's still alive, and that he's teaming up with his brother,
Right.
and then there's also the Witches of Dathomir,
Right.
and then there's Asajj Ventress, who is always trying to double-cross Dooku in her own way,
Right.
and then there is there's all these different layers of other Jedi who are kind of trying to turn and be on the other side, and it just kind of gets a little bit like clumsy, and that doesn't even begin to touch like the problem of the Inquisitors,
Right.
like how much that changes things and makes it kind of very
Right.
different to interpret stuff.
It makes it clumsy, but at the same time, it's kind of like what you were saying, where it's the rule of two is almost like written in to keep things simple. And
a show is designed to expand the
and show
storyline.
you all the possibilities of like,
Sure.
okay, yeah, there's a rule two, but that doesn't mean there's no other dark force users out there. And what are they up to? What is their stories?
They're getting high.
I'm interested in what they're going to do with the Acolyte series.
Is that about Palpatine or is that like pre?
No, it's
Palpatine?
pre. I can't remember the timeline.
It's kind of like, hey, how did this through line of the Sith survive for 1,000 years undetected? And we're gonna
I think
we're
that's
gonna jump in 600 years into this.
I think
and
that's
show you a little
the
bit
angle
how
they're going to take.
they were super sneaky, sis.
Which I'm more interested in that than, frankly, the Andor series. But I mean, I've watched one episode of Andor, and so far so good.
Because Andor, I already know what happens to him.
True.
He dies in a blow up,
True.
a big old fireball.
Poor guy.
Yeah, he got to hug that girl at the end though. First time I ever got to hug a girl.
So we think we'll find out, won't we?
Yeah, we'll find out.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they're doing lots of stuff. Not all of it's going to be right. Just look at She-Hulk.
Or none of it.
Or none of it.
I'd rather not look at She-Hulk. I don't like her. I don't like the way she looks. I think her CG is a little bit off-putting.
I feel like it's gotten better.
It comes and goes.
Yeah.
Is the problem.
I saw it. There's this scene where she walks into an office and sits down, and then somebody says, "This looks like a negotiation in my FIFA player."
It does.
My FIFA player is about to sign a new contract, and my agent walks in. That's what it looked like.
It specifically is because of the cloth just dynamics don't look right on her ever.
Sure.
I can't explain why, but it just looks like something out of like Xbox 360. Remember when they were all proud of themselves because their basketball players in the new NBA games sweated?
Right.
It's like that. But didn't matter that the cloth dynamics in all their jerseys were still like this really weird, bulgy, rigid
Yeah.
thing. So I don't know. There's something to me. I mean, there's people who like could spend their entire life breaking down visual effects, like what works, what doesn't work.
Yeah.
I can't tell you what doesn't work about She-Hulk. I'm normally able to suspend my disbelief though, and it's not that distracting.
Yeah.
What is distracting to me is that I don't know what the arc of this character is.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where she's going.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what I'm supposed to root for.
Right.
I don't know how I'm supposed to like get behind her and be on her side. And all of the problems she faces in each episode feel so inconsequential,
Yeah.
given the subject matter.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about a woman who has been given superpowers that rival the power of gods, kind of a thing.
Right.
Like she could throw something hard enough into the atmosphere to cause it to like go like orbit the world.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's not just like the kind of power you have and like, oh, now I'm going to go crash a wedding and get to a fight with this girl who I'm ticked off at.
Yeah.
So, but what do I know? What do I know?
Like you
Such
know
things.
some stuff.
No, I don't know a single thing about being a lawyer
That's true.
or being a She-Hulk.
Neither do I. And I haven't learned anything either through watching the show.
I feel bad for Jennifer, though. It's Jennifer Waters or Walters?
Walters.
Yeah, Walters. Walter White. I feel bad for the Heisenberg because she is she seems like a fun lady. She's positive and upbeat.
Yeah.
She's doing her best.
I mean, once they brought in Megan Thee Stallion, that's when it made me raise my eyebrow to Disney and say, what?
I'll tell you what the most disappointing thing about that is. When I watched the episode and it's like, oh my gosh, total cringe meltdown. They have She-Hulk twerking at the end of this episode.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I watched the episode and I thought, can you guys grow up? Like, come on. It's like, it's supposed to be dumb.
Yeah.
And a part of me was like, it's okay for things to be dumb. Oh my gosh.
Randy McRanderton.
And, but to me, what disappointed me the most was after that, they never did another post-credit scene. Can you believe that?
No.
It's like they chickened out. After that, they're like, okay, well, never again.
Oh, that was a mistake.
Like, and I keep sitting going, like, why is there no? I thought this was like their thing, post-credit scenes, but it's not. They're not doing that no more.
I just love the meme where it's like the Marvel CGI artist who missed his son's birthday.
It's true.
In order
so he could animate
her twerking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, on that note,
I should probably hit the road.
I think you should. I think you should figure out how we're going to get a better table in here.
I mean, we can. I still haven't listed that Scarlet box. I gotta list that. Have you sold stuff on eBay?
Never.
Me neither.
Know who has? Zach.
Really?
Teasy.
Maybe I should have him do it because I have like no reputation on eBay, and that's probably
Or in life.
That's probably the best place to sell it.
No, it's. I don't know. Teasy might disagree. He might be like, "No, dude, watch me. I'll sell it to the junkyard."
I don't want that.
No, my brother used to. He used to do a lot of like Amazon. What do you call it? Surplus or whatever it is. It's like when there was like these lots or this stuff from Amazon of all these returned bulk items.
Mm-hmm.
And he would just like pick through these pallets of random stuff that would get sent to our house and sell the stuff that we're selling and make, I don't know, some change to, I don't know, do whatever he was doing. But still, I mean, I always thought that was kind of an interesting thing that he was doing. So he definitely has more experience than I ever will.
Sure.
There's areas in my life that I'm okay letting other people be good at.
Like I do a lot of Facebook Marketplace transactions. It's just that's not the place to sell that. It's not going to get any traction on there. I need somebody who in like Milwaukee to be easily able to get it.
Yeah. Don't ever sell anything to Milwaukee. Don't even speak about Milwaukee.
Okay.
I'm going to Italy in March with our cousin Anthony.
Oh, that's right. You mentioned
Told you
that.
this, and because he's super Italian, you know him. But I was literally in the middle of the night last night. I awoke with such a startle. I arose. Okay, and I was like, I should totally get a drone and bring it,
dude,
to take some cool footage in Italy. It just struck me. I should totally do that.
That'd be legit.
And I was like, oh man, I got to spend $600 to get like a good bundle for like a good drone that would be easy to travel with. So much money. But then you go on Amazon and it's like, oh, here's a refurbished used bundle that's like $350.
Right.
Which is still a lot of money.
Right.
But I'm like, well, wow. So you never know. People sometimes are like chomping at the bit to buy used stuff because it's
just takes one person.
Yeah. Just like launching the nukes. Just takes one person.
God.
Unless they still have that thing where it's like, turn your key, sir. And not one person can do it. How do you think...
a lineup of 7 dudes who all got to turn the key.
Yeah. How do you think the president like literally has to... Like, how do you think the launch codes actually work nowadays?
I have no idea.
Do you think he like literally has to memorized a 20-string random...
I don't think so.
Series of letters? Because I feel bad. I'm not remembering that. I'm in my 30s.
No.
Our president's in his 70s. It's not happening. Like, nobody's remembering that. I can't do it.
It's
too important.
It's got to just be like, I don't know, man.
I wonder if they keep it a secret from us on purpose.
Probably, yeah.
Well, speaking of that, actually, I saw this video of King Charles of England. He was going around shaking hands, and people were pointing out how...
He has sausage fingers?
No, how something like that, how his like bodyguards in the background, if you pay attention, are very clearly walking around with fake, like one real arm and fake arm, because very clearly the other arm is like planted in the shirt, ready to like draw a gun if necessary at any given moment.
I saw a screenshot of that.
That's really interesting.
That's cool.
Makes me think about like, I should do that. Not with a gun, but
I'll show you the sausage fingers one. Maybe.
Yeah, he's got sausage fingers. Hey, man, don't make... there's a lot of reasons to make fun of royalty, make fun of celebrities, but I think that's a sign of just like... that's just like compartment issues, right? Or compartment syndrome, or whatever you call it.
I think those are the hands of a man who's never done anything in his life.
I think it's the hands of a really old guy who... poor Charles.
But then... Look at this.
Okay. Oh God! It's like that scene in
they just photoshopped
Everything Everywhere All at Once
over his hand.
But
I never saw that movie.
It's really good.
I don't see movies, Sean.
Yeah, that's what we figured out. Or shows or anything.
I don't
you
see
see your
stuff.
family. That's what matters.
See my family.
You do that. Good job. Proud of you.
Thank you, Sean.
But yeah, I thought that was so interesting because I'm like, wow, of all the weird things to like have somebody build prosthetics for, a fake arm that like pretends to be at your side, but really you're like Aunt Beru with the strap.
Yeah.
Ready to ride or die any given moment. That's pretty impressive.
That is cool.
Yeah. Yeah, poor King Charles. He's old, man. It's hard.
Yeah, he is old.
Lost his mom.
That's tough.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend it.
No.
Mannequin wouldn't either. He's an orphan.
He's never known love.
And he never will.
Nope. No, he will not. All right. Well, speaking of seeing my family, I should probably jet.